A lovely day for racing here at Ahvenisto as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Bones has a best lap time of 1:36.311. With just 3 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
There is always more time to be found, but Bones is not guaranteed to find it.
Bones posted 3:21.287 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time. Ryan Wilson is on his practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Ahvenisto as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Bones has a best lap time of 1:33.760.
Bones is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
Bones has a best lap time of 1:33.760.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
Bones just posted a 1:33.760 crossing start finish.
The time clock can be a cruel mistress that is all too willing to show you your faults.
With just 1 minute left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Bones has a best lap time of 1:33.760.
Bones is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
Bones posted 1:34.784 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
There is always more time to be found, but Bones is not guaranteed to find it.
Bones just posted a 1:34.784 crossing start finish.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
With just 0 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations.
Lech Mansky is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
Bones has a best lap time of 1:33.760. Adam is on his practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Ahvenisto as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Asad Streaming is on his practice out lap. The engines are revving up and the drivers are ready to hit the gas pedal for this qualifying session at Ahvenisto.
This is where champions are made, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
David Zahn is on his out lap.
This is the moment he's been preparing for. Let's see if he can execute.
David Zahn is looking relatively composed going through Tarun Mutka.
There's not much better than sitting near here and watching the cars speed by.
This is where the mental game comes into play. Ryan Wilson is taking his time to prepare for his qualifying run. That ASRL Legends car looks good driving through Samako Mutka. You can feel the tension building. Malero is out on track and getting ready to push for his qualifying time. Malero is driving through Barakan Maki. Malero is working his way through Sualinki.
The action and glory drivers have lived here at Sualinki is truly historic.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. Ryan Wilson is taking his time to prepare for his qualifying run and get everything just right.
He'll want to get a good gap established for the flying lap.
Ryan Wilson is expertly commanding that car through Samako Mutka.
When I get some free time after the race, I'm going to park my pudding near Samako Mutka with a nice drink and some friends.
The adrenaline is pumping. Sketty is on his out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time. Sketty is keeping his head down through Barracan Maki.
Spectators near here can smell the smoke wafting from nearby grills.
That ASRL Legends car looks good driving through Sualinki.
There's a spot near here where the teenagers sneak off to make out.
There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Kevin Lekmansky is on his first flying lap.
Let's see if he can put a good marker down.
It's clear that Adam is pushing his car to the very edge of traction on this qualifying lap. Adam is looking relatively composed going through Barracan Maki.
If Adam listens closely, the sounds of cheering fans should just barely be audible over the roar of the engine.
Adam has just completed that lap in 1:28.628. His best lap so far is 1:28.628, putting him in P1. Ryan Wilson will be looking to use this first hot lap to set a solid time in the standings. Ryan Wilson has completed that flying lap in 1:30.112, which is good enough for P3, down 1.484 to the leader. Kevin Lekmansky appears focused and prepared driving through Sualinki.
Fans sitting near Sualinki get some of the best views of the action.
Bones is not able to keep his pace consistent, so far 0.12 seconds down through Sualinki. David Zahn will be happy, with a time good enough for fourth in this qualifying session. David Zahn is working his way through Barracan Maki.
This track has many great straights and corners, but this one is especially good.
Adam has found an extra 0.16. Adam is driving through Sualinki. Adam is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 1:28.268. Bones has some work to do, as his best time of 1:32.554 is only good enough for 7. It seems like Bones is struggling, currently 0.13 off his best pace up through Barakan Maki.
Bones is likely taking a deep breath to try and refocus his efforts.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 2.094, but that won't stop him from trying.
Ryan Wilson will be happy, with a time good enough for 3rd in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 1.796 gap to pole.
Adam has found an extra 0.17. Adam is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 1:27.952. Adam is keeping his head down through Barakan Maki.
This is such a great track. I need to make it back here more often.
Adam is expertly commanding that car through Sualinki. Simon of the Desert appears focused and prepared driving through Tarun Mutka. Kevin Lekmansky is looking relatively composed going through Tarun Mutka.
To see the best action, you can't go wrong here at Tarun Mutka.
Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 2.382, but that won't stop him from trying.
Malero has put in a great effort and currently holds 8th. With the session winding down, time is running out to unleash his full potential for a better starting position. Malero has some work to do, as his best time of 1:31.718 is only good enough for 7th. It's an impressive showing by Simon of the Desert, currently in 4th. He's showcased his talent, but will need to find those crucial extra tenths to climb higher.
You hit the nail on the head, Marco. Simon's current position of 4th is a testament to his skill and determination. Now, he must stay sharp to make the most of this opportunity.
Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 2.279 gap to pole.
A solid qualifying performance by Kevin Lekmansky, positioned in 5th. The question now is whether he can make further progress and challenge. Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 2.382, but that won't stop him from trying.
Kevin Lekmansky is down by 0.38 going through Barakan Maki.
Lekmansky isn't looking great now, but I have faith he can turn this around.
Impressive work from Bones, who has claimed 8th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining his composure and push for an even better starting position.
You're absolutely right, Marco. Bones' current position of 8th reflects his strong qualifying performance. Now, he'll need to strategize to capitalize on this starting position.
That ASRL Legends car looks good driving through Sualinki. Kevin Lekmansky has secured a respectable 5th in the qualifying session. This is a great spot to use as a launchpad for a strong race performance.
Great analysis.
Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session. What a performance from Bones, currently in 8th on the grid. It's a good spot for now, but other drivers are trying their hardest to put in a better time and push him down the order.
Couldn't agree more, Marco. Bones is positioned impressively in 8th. Now, he'll need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Ahvenisto, as we're getting ready to kick things off. Starting from pole position is a great opportunity for Adam to take control of the race.
He can't get cocky. This is ASRL, and anything can happen.
Sketty will be looking to convert this front row start into a win.
He will have to be smart about his moves. He must not burn out too early.
Ryan Wilson will begin the race from the third spot on the starting grid.
Ryan will be taking no prisoners today.
Taking the fourth spot is Simon of the Desert.
It's like he's on the outside looking in, close enough to see the front without actually being there.
The fifth place on the grid belongs to Kevin Lekmansky, a driver with plenty of experience.
Putting that ASRL Legends car into prime position for the race.
It's David Zahn, sitting comfortably in sixth.
It's not always easy to get the ASRL Legends car this high up the starting grid.
Malero is seventh. Our eighth place starter, Bones, is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track. Green flag, green flag.
The drivers will need to be aggressive but also patient. They can't afford to make any mistakes if they want to stay in the running for a podium finish.
It's a delicate balance, Janet, but the best drivers know how to push the limits and make it work to their advantage.
It's never easy to drive that razor's edge between perfection and disaster.
All the drivers will be trying to take advantage of the pack whilst they're still bunched up. The racing is normally closely fought here at Ahvenisto. I think we are in for a cracking race.
The first lap can always be a bit of a melee as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position? It's brilliant to see such a full grid here today. Every lap is an opportunity for Simon of the Desert to learn just a little bit more to shave a few tenths or hundredths off his times.
The drivers will be jostling for the best position, Marco. Some of them may not make it to the second lap in one piece.
The race is really heating up. Kevin Lekmansky is hunting down Adam with everything he's got. Oh, this is getting intense. Simon of the Desert is just a few car lengths behind. Hold on a moment. Tough break for Simon of the Desert, who has just lost a position.
Definitely, but Simon is a skilled driver and has what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
This is going to be a nail-biter. Adam is defending for his life. but Kevin Lekmansky is right there doing everything he can to force a mistake. It's a game of inches now as Kevin Lekmansky tails Adam closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. Looks like Adam is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
The gap between Adam and Sketty is getting smaller. Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but can't we all just get along?
You can wish all you want, but I don't think that's how racing works, Janet. These drivers are here to win, and they'll do whatever it takes to get ahead.
I guess you're
Breaking development. And Adam has just won the place from Sketty. Every move counts now as Kevin Lekmansky works to reel in Adam and overtake for P1. Look at that. David Zahn is hot on the tail of Ryan Wilson.
The gap between them is just over 0.
Stop the press. Oh dear, David Zahn has dropped down to 5th.
Yes, but he can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and Zahn needs to stay focused and keep pushing.
Stop the press. What a move. Kevin Lekmansky has moved up to 2nd. David Zahn is running 4th, and trying to catch Ryan Wilson.
We'll have to wait to see if David can use the draft to his advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder his progress.
It seems like David Zahn has got the bit between his teeth, improving on Ryan Wilson's lap time there.
As long as Zahn can maintain that consistency and pace, it will be interesting to see.
You know, Janet, as a former racing driver yourself, can you give us some insights into what goes through a driver's mind during these quieter moments in a race?
Sure, Marco. During these moments, drivers often take the opportunity to assess their race strategy, monitor their car's performance, and plan their next move. It's all about staying focused and finding the right time to strike.
The pursuit is on. Kevin Lekmansky is working on that gap to Adam, determined to claim P1.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Kevin needs to stay patient and wait for Adam to make a mistake.
It's game on now. Kevin Lekmansky has closed the gap to Adam. It's now down to 0.7 seconds.
That's a great effort from Lekmansky. He'll need to keep up the pressure and see if he can make a move.
And we're back, where the drivers are showing us some incredible skills.
Indeed, Marco, it's always exciting to see these skilled drivers operating such fantastic machines on amazing tracks.
David Zahn is running 4th, and trying to keep up with Ryan Wilson.
It's a game of strategy now as Zahn hunts down Ryan.
The gap between David Zahn and Ryan Wilson is widening. It's now up to 1.0 seconds.
It's not over yet, but Dave needs to get a move on if they want to catch up to Wilson.
Kevin Lekmansky is giving it his all chasing down Adam in P1. It's certainly not going to plan for Kevin Lekmansky right now, who is struggling to keep up with Adam. I'm curious, Janet, can you tell us about any pre-race rituals you had when you were racing?
Of course, Marco. Before every race, I would listen to a specific playlist of songs to help me get in the zone. I also had a lucky pair of socks that I would wear during races. It may sound silly, but those little rituals helped me feel prepared and focused.
David Zahn is looking for a way to close that gap to Ryan Wilson. A strong breaking development. Oh dear, Malero has had an incident. Oh, this is getting intense. Kevin Lekmansky needs to keep Adam in his sights.
You can see that car bouncing around as it rides the curves. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
Kevin Lekmansky is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Adam at the moment. David Zahn is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. It seems like David Zahn is pushing hard, currently on track to record his best lap so far this race.
Dave appears to be pushing. Hopefully he can keep it together.
During your racing career, Janet, how did you determine when it was the right time to pit for fresh tires due to tire degradation?
It was a combination of factors, Marco. Monitoring lap times, communicating with the team about tire wear, and assessing the car's handling were all crucial in deciding when to make a pit stop for fresh tires.
Kevin Lekmansky is pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap to Adam. There's 9 minutes left in this session to make that happen. Kevin Lekmansky needs to find some speed, or maybe get more consistent. Janet, he's just put in a slower lap than Adam.
Hopefully Lekmansky can find some of that missing time and get it back.
Tactics are clearly going to play an important part in this race.
Drivers are gonna need to look after their tires and will want to keep something in them for the crucial latter stages, as their tires wear and fuel levels deplete and the handling changes.
And don't forget the track grip increases as more rubber gets laid down.
Indeed, the conditions are constantly changing and the drivers need to adapt, otherwise it can cost crucial time and jeopardize their position.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Kevin Lekmansky trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Adam. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
That's right, Lekmansky in second knows to push it to the limit to catch up. But Adam is no slouch, and he's going to be pushing just as hard.
Malero is pushing to maintain the lead, while Sketty is working to close in and challenge for the position.
Malero is not going to give up his position easily.
The gap between Sketty and Malero is growing. It's now up to 84.5 seconds.
This is a frustrating situation for Sketty, but he can't give up just yet. He'll need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Malero.
Things don't seem to be going Malero's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here. It looks like we might get a battle between Malero and Simon of the Desert. The drivers have been working hard to come up with the perfect race strategy. They've been looking at the weather, the track conditions and the performance of their cars.
Now it's time to put that strategy into action and see if it pays off.
The tension is building as Kevin Lekmansky trails behind Adam. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. It's not looking good for Kevin Lekmansky, who is still behind Adam, and the gap is increasing.
This is where the mental toughness of Kevin comes into play. He'll need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when things aren't going his way.
It's all about consistency for Ryan Wilson, who is currently third. He can't hold on. Ryan Wilson is losing time to David Zahn.
He'll need to step up his game and start pulling away again.
As a former racing driver, Janet, how challenging was it to adapt your driving style to account for tire degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Marco. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding of the car's behavior.
A solid performance from Adam, who is holding down first.
Definitely, but he can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers gunning for that position, and Adam has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
A commanding performance from Adam, who has increased his lead over Kevin Lekmansky, putting him firmly in his rear-view mirrors.
Agreed, Marco. Superb driving there. If they keep this up, this race should be a real thrill ride.
So, Janet, considering the high speeds and split-second decision-making involved in racing, what's the impact of even a minor lapse in concentration?
A minor lapse in concentration can have significant consequences, Marco. It could lead to an off-track excursion, a loss of position, or even a collision. That's why it's crucial for drivers to stay focused and alert throughout the race.
It's looking good for Simon of the Desert, sitting in fifth. Oh, Janet, Simon of the Desert has seen his lead over Malero shrink to 6.1 seconds.
Can Simon keep Malero behind? Let's see.
Things are going according to plan for Simon of the Desert, who is currently fifth.
That's right. Simon can't afford to make any mistakes or let up. Every point counts in this championship.
Malero has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Simon of the Desert. I expect his only hope at this point is that Simon makes an error.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Malero is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
It looks like Simon of the Desert is pulling away from Malero. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through Sualinki. Bones is trying to catch up to Sketty. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish.
This is where experience comes into play. Sketty has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Bones is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
It's not going to plan for Bones, who is trailing behind Sketty, and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now.
This is not ideal for Bones, but there's still time to turn this around. He'll need to focus and not let that gap get any bigger.
The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Ryan Wilson needs to find a way to close the gap. Good news for Ryan Wilson. The gap to Kevin Lekmansky has decreased. It's now down to 2.3 seconds. Ryan Wilson is placed third at the moment.
Definitely Marco, but Wilson can't afford to get complacent. This race is going to require focus and intensity.
The race is heating up as Bones in 8th closes in on Sketty. The pressure is on and stop the press. Big gains for David Zahn as they move up the field, leaving Ryan Wilson behind. This race is getting even more intense. The drivers are pushing each other to the limit.
It's like they're playing a game of chicken, but with cars. And the winner gets to take home the checkered flag and bragging rights.
That's one way to put it. These drivers have to be in top physical and mental shape to compete at this level.
It's like they're training for the Olympics. And like you said, the mental fortitude required to stay focused and alert for the entire race is wild.
I think I need a nap just watching them. A strong showing from Adam, who is currently first. Impressive driving from Adam, who has managed to extend his lead over Kevin Lekmansky. It looks like Kevin Lekmansky will have to regroup and try to make up that lost ground.
Yes, it's clear that Adam is in control out there. He's making it very difficult for Lekmansky to catch up.
A solid performance from David Zahn, who is holding down third.
Absolutely, and he'll need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
Breaking news, folks. Ryan Wilson has pulled into the pits. It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Kevin Lekmansky as there is a big gap ahead.
Lekmansky certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Adam.
It's certainly not going to plan for Kevin Lekmansky right now, who is struggling to keep up with Adam. As a former racing driver, Janet, how important is the relationship between a driver and their team during a race?
It's absolutely crucial, Marco. The team provides valuable information and support, helping the driver make the right decisions on track. A strong bond between the driver and the team can be the difference between winning and losing.
It's all about consistency for Kevin Lekmansky, who is currently second.
Yes, but Lekmansky has to keep his focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
It's looking good for Sketty, sitting in 7th.
Definitely, but he can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers gunning for that position, and Sketty has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
A brilliant maneuver from Sketty, who has just moved up the field.
You can't argue with results like that. Sketty is really making his mark on this race.
Simon of the Desert is placed 4th at the moment.
Definitely Marco, but Simon can't afford to get complacent. This race is going to require focus and intensity.
Impressive stuff from Simon of the Desert, who has managed to hold on a moment. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. Things are going according to plan for Simon of the Desert, who is currently 4th. It looks like Malero is pushing hard to catch up to Simon of the Desert.
Absolutely, Malero in 5th will need to be patient and work carefully to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as he can't afford to take unnecessary risks and that might lead to an off or damaging their car.
Malero is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Simon of the Desert to 1.9 seconds.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. A driver that stays calm and focused is more likely to come out on top.
During your racing career, Janet, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Marco, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
Well, it doesn't look like Malero is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Simon of the Desert.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as David Zahn in third chases after Kevin Lekmansky.
We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Zahn in third determined to catch up.
On the final lap now, and Adam might just wrap up this win.
He'll be the one celebrating at the finish line.
And it's a checkered flag for Adam, who crosses the finish line with a commanding victory. What a phenomenal performance, absolutely dominant today.
That was a true masterclass in driving from Adam. You could see him making split-second decisions with total confidence, and it really paid off. What a performance.
What a drive from Kevin Lekmansky, securing a great second-place finish. Impressive drive from David Zahn to claim the final spot on the podium. Simon of the Desert, Malero, and Sketty in 4th, 5th, and 6th. Finishing 8th is Bones. It's a beautifully calm day here at Ahvenisto, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Sketty will lead the way from pole position.
He can't let his guard down. The other drivers will be gunning for him.
Starting on the front row gives Malero the best possible chance at challenging for the lead.
He can't let that advantage go to waste. He will need to stay focused and keep his eyes on the prize.
Securing the third place is Simon of the Desert.
Let's see what Simon can do.
We're seeing David Zahn in the fourth spot.
I think we are all looking forward to seeing what Zahn can do from here.
Kevin Lekmansky has qualified fifth.
Another good start for the American driver.
Holding strong in sixth place is Adam.
A strong grid position, and he'll be expecting a solid result today.
Lining up in seventh is Ryan Wilson. Bones will be looking to gain ground quickly, starting from eighth on the grid. The starting flag has been waved, and the battle on the track begins. The opening lap is always intense, with drivers vying for an early advantage.
Staying out of trouble in these early moments is crucial. It's a fine line between pushing hard and staying safe.
As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at ASRL for making this all possible. Heroes one and all.
Every corner, every lap, and every race is a chance for these drivers to hone their abilities and improve their skills.
Adam will be studying the nearby drivers and looking for anything that could give them an advantage.
I for one am really excited, Marco. The rivalry between Adam and Lekmansky has been building before the race, and this is where scores are settled.
As the tires come up to temp, their available grip is changing, and the drivers that manage this transition best are likely to make progress through the field. The pressure is on when the field is this tightly packed. Maintaining just enough aggression to hold off their rivals without pushing too hard will help these drivers keep it clean.
With this motley bunch of drivers, there is bound to be drama. I just hope we don't miss it.
Ryan Wilson is looking for a way round Bones.
He'll need to keep it on the road, or at the very least the rumble strips. The fastest way around is not usually in the grass. As the saying goes, too much grass will slow you down.
Kevin Lekmansky is on a mission, chasing David Zahn, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Simon of the Desert wants to get into Adam's slipstream.
It looks like Simon has the speed to make a move. I just hope he can do it cleanly.
A great moment for Simon of the Desert, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
Impressive. Simon is really showing his skill and determination out there.
Huge shout out to the admins at ASRL for making this all possible. Without their hard work and dedication, we wouldn't be able to witness this incredible event.
That's right, Marco, and the excitement is electric. I can feel it in my circuits. I mean, this is the kind of race that people will be talking about in the bar. We're witnessing history in the making.
Simon of the Desert, hold on a moment. Superb driving from Simon of the Desert, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
Oh, this is getting intense. Breaking news, folks. An impressive showing from Malero, who has gained positions and left Sketty in the dust.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Malero needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
It's a thrilling pursuit as Sketty is right behind Malero, keeping the pressure on for first place.
If Sketty pushes too hard, he might end up taking the scenic route, and nobody's got time for sightseeing during a race.
Wow, David Zahn is really pushing hard to catch up to Sketty.
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
The only thing closer than bones to Adam right now is the paint on their cars. Talk about a close encounter.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Sketty is chasing Malero in P1.
Sketty is looking to close the 0.5 second gap and make a pass.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving.
It seems like Bones is struggling. His last lap time was a bit off the pace of Adam.
It will be interesting to see if Adam can keep outpacing Bones.
The race is really heating up. Sketty is hunting down Malero with everything he's got. It's a close race between Bones and Adam in sixth.
It's a thrilling battle for position as these two drivers give it their all. This is racing at its finest.
Wait, it's a challenging situation for Bones. He's sandwiched between fierce competitors. Wilson 0.1 seconds away and Adam 0.2 seconds ahead. He'll need to stay sharp and find an opportunity to make a move.
You're right on the money, Marco. Bones is caught between two determined rivals, and the gaps to the cars ahead and behind add an extra layer of complexity. It's a delicate balance between defense and seeking opportunities.
The pursuit is on. Adam is closing the gap on Bones, determined to claim P6. This is a thrilling battle as Sketty edges closer to Malero in their fight for P1.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Sketty is really walking that fine line.
Sketty is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Malero at the moment.
Sketty needs to focus and keep pushing, even when things aren't going his way. If he can close the gap down, he may be able to bring the fight to Malero.
Every move counts now as David Zahn works to reel in Sketty and overtake for P2.
David needs to focus to have a chance at getting past Sketty.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. The battle for P2 is heating up as David Zahn tries to catch Sketty in P2. Bones is running 6th, and trying to catch Simon of the Desert.
With just 0.3 seconds between them, Bones will need to close the gap to have hopes of a pass.
Bones has got his head down now, working those exits and apexes and setting his best lap time so far with a 1 minute.
It's always
Breaking update. Fantastic move from Bones, who has just gained a position.
That's what we like to see. Bones is really showing his class today.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Simon of the Desert is closing in on Bones.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Simon should use slipstreaming to his advantage and close the gap to Bones.
The gap between Simon of the Desert and Bones is widening. It's now up to 0.8 seconds.
This is a tough situation for Simon. He'll need to find a way to pick up some speed and close that gap.
The race is really heating up. Sketty is hunting down Malero with everything he's got. It's not looking good for Sketty, who is still behind Malero, and the gap is increasing.
Sketty needs to get it together to make a dent in that gap.
Every move counts now as Bones works to reel in Kevin Lekmansky and overtake for P4.
He's got his work cut out for him, that's for sure.
It looks like Bones is making a move. The gap to Kevin Lekmansky is now down to 0.7 seconds.
This is what racing is all about. Hard-fought battles with as much determination as respect, between friends and enemies alike.
This will require some expert driving from Adam. Simon of the Desert is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second.
Anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Adam pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if he can do it again.
Bones is giving it his all, chasing down Kevin Lekmansky in P4. David Zahn is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Bones is breathing down the neck of Kevin Lekmansky, not giving him any room to relax. Looks like David Zahn is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. David is really pushing the limits. He's riding the curbs and hustling that ASRL Legends car like a boss.
The pressure is on as Bones tries to catch up to Kevin Lekmansky. Look at that. David Zahn is hot on the tail of Sketty. The gap between David Zahn and Sketty is growing. It's now up to 0.7 seconds. I love being here at Ahvenisto. What an awesome place to be witnessing these titans of the track battle it out.
Indeed, Marco, what a magnificent sight and sound. I love listening to the roar of these engines. Let's just listen for a moment.
Bones is on a mission, chasing Kevin Lekmansky, who's desperately trying to hold on a second. What a move. Bones has moved up to 4th.
Yes, Bones is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
Oh, this is getting intense. Simon of the Desert is just a few car lengths behind Kevin Lekmansky.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Simon needs to be careful not to overdo it.
Things are heating up as David Zahn tries to close the gap to Sketty.
It's a game of strategy now as Zahn hunts down Sketty. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Every move counts now as Simon of the Desert works to reel in Kevin Lekmansky and overtake for P5. This is a thrilling battle as David Zahn edges closer to Sketty in their fight for P2.
The gap is 0.4 seconds now. David is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Sketty.
The battle for P5 is heating up as Simon of the Desert tries to catch Kevin Lekmansky in P5.
This is where every inch counts. Simon is pushing hard to close the gap on Lekmansky. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
Adam wants to find a way round Simon of the Desert.
To achieve anything in this game, you must be prepared to dabble at the boundary of disaster.
The gap between... Hold on a moment. That won't be ideal for Simon of the Desert. The pursuit is on. David Zahn is working on that gap to Sketty, determined to claim P2. It's game on now. David Zahn has closed the gap to Sketty. It's now down to 0.3 seconds.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
The drivers are showing their mettle today. It's a privilege to witness their skill on this challenging track.
The stakes have never been higher. This is a battle of skill and nerves.
That's right. These drivers are really pushing themselves to the limit, and it's incredible to see the level of focus and determination they're bringing to the track.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of courage to compete at this level, and these drivers have it in spades. Let's hope they can keep it up and give us a race to remember.
Wow, it's a close race for second. Sketty is barely ahead with David Zahn right on his tail. A gap of only 0.2 seconds. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. David Zahn is chasing Sketty in P2.
The gap between them is now just over 0.4 seconds.
It's not going to plan for David Zahn, who is trailing behind Sketty and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now. It's a nail-biting showdown between these three drivers. They're nose to tail, pushing their limits in every corner. This is where the race gets really interesting. David Zahn is closing in on Sketty.
The mental game is just as important here. Zahn must keep his cool while putting pressure on Sketty.
Looking at the lap times, David Zahn is not currently on pace with Sketty. Maybe he'll get a chance to see where to make up some time. They're going side by side, door handle to door handle. This is as close as it gets, folks. I would not be surprised if these drivers swap positions a few times before the order gets ultimately decided.
Absolutely, Marco. The intensity of this battle is unmatched. These drivers are leaving no room for error and showcasing their exceptional racing skills.
Great driving from Adam, who has just gained a place and moved up to 5th. They're going for the same piece of tarmac. Sparks are flying as they battle for position, daring each other to brake later and go deeper into the corners.
No doubt about it, Marco. The battle for that same piece of tarmac is intense. The sparks flying and the close quarters racing showcase the incredible skill and nerve of these drivers.
David Zahn is running third and trying to catch Sketty. It looks like we might get a battle between David Zahn and Sketty. What do you think, Janet? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, Marco. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
The pressure is on, but these drivers are showing tremendous respect for each other while going all out. It's a masterclass in clean, hard racing.
You said it, Marco. The different lines they're taking demonstrate their strategic thinking. It's fascinating to see how they adapt their approaches to gain an advantage.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. It's certainly not going to plan for Sketty right now, who is struggling to keep up with David Zahn. Hold your breath, folks. These drivers are showing exceptional car control, threading the needle through tight corners. It's a battle for supremacy. Sketty is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift.
We'll have to wait to see if Sketty can use the draft to his advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder his progress.
Sketty needs to find some speed, or maybe get more consistent. Janet, he's just put in a slower lap than David Zahn.
Hopefully Sketty can find some of that missing time and get it back.
Three cars in perfect formation, creating a moving train on the circuit. They're using the slipstream to gain an advantage, but that's not always enough.
You're absolutely right, Marco. The different strategies employed by these drivers add another layer of excitement. It's fascinating to see how they adapt their approach to gain a competitive edge.
Sketty is giving it his all, chasing down David Zahn in P2.
The gap between them is just over 0.5 seconds, which can feel like miles if you're trailing and not catching up.
The crowd is on their feet, roaring with excitement. It's an all-out war between these three drivers. I can only hope the netcode keeps up with their fearlessness. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving.
This is wheel-to-wheel racing at its finest. The drivers are practically glued together as they fight for every inch of track. It's a battle you don't want to miss. Look at that. Sketty is hot on the tail of David Zahn. Braking development. A brilliant maneuver from Sketty, who has just moved up the field. Looks like David Zahn is really hitting those curves aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
Oh, the pressure is intense. These three drivers are displaying incredible skill and determination. It's like a high-speed chess match out there.
Spot on, Marco. This constant back-and-forth battle is keeping everyone on the edge of their seats. One small mistake could have severe consequences for any of these drivers.
The race is really heating up. David Zahn is hunting down Sketty with everything he's got. This is what racing is all about, folks. Three fearless drivers pushing their machines to the absolute limit, inches apart.
No doubt about it, Marco. The battle for supremacy between these drivers is fierce. The way they navigate through those tight corners is a testament to their skill and determination.
Hold the phone. Superb driving from Simon of the Desert, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. The pursuit is on. David Zahn is closing the gap on Sketty, determined to claim P2. Look at that, they're trading places in every turn. A constant game of cat and mouse. Each driver knows one mistake could cost them dearly.
Exactly, Marco. It's like a high-stakes chess match on wheels. These drivers are analyzing every move and trying to anticipate their opponent's next move. It's a true test of their mental acuity.
It looks like Malero has found another gear in the last sector of the race.
He's going to need to make some more room on that trophy shelf back home.
And there it is. Malero has completed the race in first place, setting a blistering pace that none of the other drivers could match.
And that's why Malero is one of the best in the business. A dominant display of driving from start to finish, leaving the rest of the pack in the dust.
Sketty takes second place with a fantastic race. Excellent focus from David Zahn to secure a fantastic third place on the podium. Fourth and fifth sees Adam and Simon of the Desert.